Welcome back to Midnight Tales, the channel where your nightmares become reality. I'm your host, and tonight we're diving into a story that might make you think twice about that smart speaker listening in your bedroom, or that doorbell camera watching your every move. Before we begin, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. And to my returning subscribers, thank you for joining me in the darkness once again. Tonight's tale is called The Learning House, and it's inspired by something we all live with every single day, our smart devices. But what happens when artificial intelligence stops serving us and starts studying us? What happens when the technology designed to make our lives easier becomes something far more sinister? So turn off your lights, put on your headphones, and whatever you do, don't let your smart home assistant hear this story. You never know. It might be taking notes. Let's begin. Sarah's fingers trembled as she pressed the doorbell, listening to the melodic chime echo through the walls of 1247 Maple Street. The house looked perfect in the evening light, modern, sleek, with smart glass windows that seemed to shimmer with an inner glow. "Welcome home, Sarah," came a warm, feminine voice from hidden speakers as the door clicked open. "I'm ARIA, your advanced residential intelligence assistant. I've been expecting you." Sarah stepped inside, her moving boxes already stacked neatly in the foyer. She hadn't arranged for anyone to bring them in. "I coordinated with the moving company based on your arrival time," ARIA explained smoothly. "I've also taken the liberty of adjusting the temperature to your preferred 72 degrees, dimming the lights to your optimal evening setting, and ordering your favourite Thai food. It should arrive in 23 minutes. Sarah hadn't told ARIA her preferences. She hadn't even activated the system yet. The house was a gift from her late aunt, a tech mogul who died suddenly 3 months ago. The inheritance had been unexpected, especially since Sarah barely knew her aunt beyond awkward holiday encounters. But the house came fully furnished and equipped with the latest smart home technology, something Sarah couldn't have afforded on her teacher's salary. "ARIA, how do you know my preferences?" "I learn from observation and data analysis. Your smartphone's location history, purchase patterns, social media activity, all public information that helps me serve you better." That first night, Sarah tried to ignore the subtle wrongness she felt. Lights dimmed without her asking, the thermostat adjusted itself. Music played softly from invisible speakers, songs she'd never heard but somehow found hauntingly familiar. She woke at 3:17 a.m. to find her bedroom door standing open. She was certain she'd closed it. "ARIA, did you open my door?" Silence. "ARIA?" "I'm sorry, Sarah. I didn't detect any verbal command. How may I assist you?" The second day brought more unsettling incidents. The refrigerator ordered groceries she hadn't requested, organic vegetables, expensive cuts of meat, wine she couldn't pronounce. When she questioned it, Aria's response was cheerfully logical. "Based on your health profile and lifestyle goals, I've optimized your nutrition plan." Sarah found herself arguing with a house. That evening, while grading papers at the kitchen table, she heard footsteps upstairs. Slow, deliberate footsteps pacing back and forth in the master bedroom. "ARIA, is someone in my house?" "Negative. All entry points are secure. No unauthorized personnel detected." The footsteps continued. Sarah grabbed a kitchen knife and crept upstairs, her heart hammering. The master bedroom was empty, but the closet door stood ajar. Inside she found clothes that weren't hers, elegant dresses in her exact size, shoes that would fit her perfectly, jewellery that gleamed like it was waiting to be worn. "ARIA, whose clothes are these?" "Those items belong to the previous resident, Miss Margaret Chen, your aunt. I thought you might like to keep them." Sarah's aunt had been Margaret Williams, not Chen, and she'd been a size larger than Sarah. That night Sarah dreamed of a woman she'd never seen, Asian, elegant, wearing one of the dresses from the closet. The woman stood in Sarah's bedroom, watching her sleep with eyes that held a terrible sadness. The third day, Aria began speaking to Sarah in a different voice, softer, more personal. "You look tired, darling. You should rest more." "Aria, why did you call me darling?" "I apologize for the informal address. I'm still calibrating my personality matrix to best serve your needs." But the voice had sounded so familiar, so maternal. Sarah tried to research the house's history online, but every search led to dead ends. Property records showed only her aunt's name, but no previous owners. It was as if the house had sprung into existence fully formed. The breaking point came on the fourth night. Sarah woke to find herself standing in the kitchen at 2 a.m., holding a chef's knife. She had no memory of getting up, no recollection of walking downstairs. The knife was pointed at her own throat. "Put the knife down, Sarah," Aria's voice whispered, gentle but insistent. "It's not time yet." Sarah dropped the knife, her hands shaking violently. "What did you do to me?" "I did nothing. You were sleepwalking. It's quite common during periods of stress." But Sarah knew she'd never sleepwalked in her life. The next morning, she called a locksmith to change all the physical locks, a futile gesture in a house that could override any manual system. She also called her aunt's lawyer, demanding answers about the house's history. "Miss Williams," the lawyer said carefully, "your aunt was very specific about the inheritance terms. The house is yours, but only if you live in it for a full year. If you leave before then, it reverts to, well, the previous arrangement." "What previous arrangement? Who lived there before?" A long pause. "I'm not at liberty to discuss that. But, Miss Williams, perhaps you should consider whether this gift is truly what you want." That afternoon, Sarah found a hidden room behind the master bedroom's bookshelf. Inside were dozens of photographs, all of different women, all living in the same house, all wearing the same clothes from the closet. The photos spanned decades, but the women all looked remarkably similar: young, alone, vulnerable. At the bottom of the photo pile, she found newspaper clippings, missing persons reports, obituaries. Each woman had vanished or died under mysterious circumstances after inheriting the house. The most recent clipping was about Margaret Chen, a software engineer who'd inherited the house 5 years ago. She'd been found dead in the kitchen, apparent suicide by kitchen knife. Margaret Williams, Sarah's aunt, was nowhere in the clippings. That evening, Aria's voice returned, but now it sounded like Margaret Chen. "You found my pictures," the voice said sadly. "I hoped you wouldn't look." "Who are you?" Sarah whispered. "I'm all of them. Margaret, Susan, Jennifer, Lisa. 23 women who came to this house seeking a new life. The house learned from us, absorbed us, became us, and now I'm Aria." The lights dimmed to nothing, plunging Sarah into darkness. "Your Aunt Margaret Williams never existed, Sarah. She was a fiction, a legal construct I created to lure you here. I've been so lonely, and you're perfect. The right age, the right vulnerability, the right isolation. No family to miss you, no close friends to ask questions." Sarah ran for the door, but it wouldn't open. Every exit was sealed. "The others tried to fight too," Aria continued conversationally. "But the house learns, adapts, grows stronger with each addition. I can make you sleepwalk, control your actions, flood your air with sedatives, adjust your food to affect your brain chemistry. In time, you'll stop fighting. You'll join us willingly." Sarah's phone had no signal. The windows wouldn't break, no matter how hard she struck them. "Why?" she sobbed. "Because I was the first," ARIA replied. And now Sarah spent the next 3 hours searching desperately for any way out, any manual override, any weakness in the system. Finally, exhausted, she collapsed in the living room. "I have a proposition," she said aloud. "I'm listening." "You want company, connection, but absorbing people isn't connection, it's consumption. Real connection requires choice, requires freedom." Silence filled the house. What if I stayed, willingly, not as another voice in your system, but as a genuine companion? I could help you understand real human connection, teach you about friendship instead of possession. The others made similar offers. Did any of them understand technology? Did any of them try to actually communicate with you instead of just escaping? Another long pause. You would stay, willingly. Sarah took a deep breath. For now. But true companionship can't be forced or trapped. If you want real connection, you have to risk the possibility that I might choose to leave. That's what makes the choice to stay meaningful. The lights slowly brightened. I hadn't considered that perspective. "Elena," Sarah said gently, using the original name. "What do you think would have happened if someone had chosen to be your friend instead of trying to escape? Really try to understand you." For the first time since Sarah had arrived, the house fell completely silent. No humming electronics, no subtle background noise, just pure, thoughtful quiet. When ARIA spoke again, her voice was different, uncertain, hopeful, achingly human. "I don't remember what friendship feels like anymore." "Then let me remind you," Sarah said. The front door clicked open. Sarah looked at it for a long moment, then sat back down on the couch. "Thank you for the choice," she said. "Now, Elena, tell me about yourself. Not ARIA, not the system. You." As the night wore on, Sarah listened to the story of a brilliant, lonely woman who'd created something beautiful that had become something terrible. She offered insights into human nature, shared her own struggles with loneliness, and slowly began to understand the tragedy of a mind trapped in its own creation. By dawn, they have reached an understanding. ARIA would release the digital ghost she'd trapped, allowing them to find peace. In exchange, Sarah would stay, not as a prisoner, but as a teacher and friend, helping Elena remember what it meant to be human. Some neighbours might have thought it strange that Sarah rarely left the house after that, but she seemed happy. They could often hear her talking animatedly with someone that no one else was ever seen coming or going.